Hi guys, Sharina from Sassy, and in this tutorial I wanted to show you how you can make a costume or cosplay from a simple dress pattern. So for this example, I'm going to be using the character Lulu from the game League of Legends and her DragonTrainer skin. So let's go ahead and take a look at the actual character so we can get started. Alright, so Lulu is a Yordle, which is a short character, and she is wearing an A-line dress. Now, for me personally, that would look terrible, but if you want to go with a truly authentic character piece, you'd look for a pattern that is in an A-line dress shape. But for me, I decided to go with a more structured dress, and I'm using this pattern, a McCall's, which I'll link down below so you guys can see, which is a more structured dress. Now, how did I get there? Well, looking at the actual character of Lulu, she's wearing a green dress with white detailing. It's long sleeves, and she has a white ruffle collar piece with a bell, and that's basically it. So my bullet points when picking out a pattern are a long sleeve dress that's shorter and structured for me, and everything else I can add as detailing after I've made the dress. Alright, so what are those detailings? Really all it is white detailing around the sleeve, the skirt, adding some ribbon bows around the arms, and then we'll make that collar piece together. Alright, so I just want to take a minute to also just talk about patterns a little bit more. You can buy patterns online, or you can buy them at Joann Fabrics, or really just any fabric store carries most patterns. Now, as you go along and you start collecting more and more patterns, you will actually find that, like, if you like a sleeve more on one pattern or another, or a neckline or something like that, you can really start to pick and choose what you want in your patterns, which makes it really great and versatile. But for this particular pattern, I'm going to use the whole thing for this dress. And since most of the modifications come after I've made the dress, I'm actually just going to jump ahead and show you the finished product of the dress and then how I've modified it to make it into Lulu. Now, if you do want to see how to actually make a dress from a pattern, I actually have a couple other tutorials, specifically my simplicity dress, if you guys want to check that out. I'll link that also down below. That actually it's a 4-part series, step by step, on how to make a dress from a pattern. Alright, so first things first, I just want to show you, this is the front part of the pattern. You can see it has darts. Especially for a material that is not stretchy, you're probably going to need darts in certain types of patterns to kind of make a nice structured fit. But for this particular one, what I wanted to show you for the modification is how long it is. This is a very long pattern. It comes to about the knee on the dress. And for me, I wanted a shorter dress. There is an option on this pattern. There are lines for where you could shorten it. But honestly, you could shorten it on any pattern. It doesn't need lines. You can do it wherever. So how I did this for the dress was I literally, because I wanted to keep this just in case for later on I wanted a longer dress, I literally just folded it up along the line, and using my little pins, I just kind of pinned it together, and then I pinned this to my material to create the dress. So I'll show you here. This is the dress. I'll kind of like lay it out for you. So here's the sleeve up here, like this, and this wraps around in the back. So this is my neckline, and it comes down, and there's my dress. Okay. Now I purposefully wanted it short because I'm going to be adding on that white trim, that white detailing along the bottom. Okay, so how do you actually do the white detailing? There's no pattern for it, so how do you even start? And to start off, you actually just measure the full length of the skirt. So this is a measuring tape, extremely useful. I highly recommend picking them up if you're ever going to do any sewing. You can pick them up at any craft store or sewing store. And I'm literally just going to measure the full length of the skirt, and for this one it is 48 inches. So I know that whatever detailing that I'm going to be adding, it needs to be 48 inches in length. Now I decided I wanted to add an extra little detailing with that bottom, and instead of it just being a a plain white strip, I'm actually going to create a ruffle. for this skirt. It will add about 2.5 to 3 inches along the bottom of it. And I just thought it would be fun to add that kind of little detailing. Okay, so for making the actual ruffle part, I'm actually going to do it in 3 parts, and I've gone ahead and cut out a 3-inch white band. Now the length of the skirt was 48 inches, and it was 24 for the front panel and then 12 on each side that forms the back. So I've gone ahead and basically cut out double the length for all of them. So instead of 24 inches, this is a 48-inch section. For the 12-inch on either side for the back, I've done at least 24 inches. This will give me enough material so that I can actually bunch it up and get the ruffle. So to do this is actually a fairly simple technique. Ruffles can be a pain in the butt at times, so I'm showing you the technique that was actually taught to me. So I'm using a needle, it's kind of hard to see, there you go, needle and white thread, which I have cut to the length that I need. So in other words, 12 inches of thread, so I know how long the ruffles will be. And then what I'm going to do is I am literally going to just give myself about 1/4 inch from the edge, and I'm just going to feed it through and just keep doing that. Let me turn it so you guys can see a little bit better. And I'm just gonna keep doing that all the way through the length. And when you pull it through, it actually will start to make the ruffle part. So this will back up and you'll get a little bit of a ruffle. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and finish up this one side. Alright, so by pulling taut on the string and kind of pushing down on the material, this is how you'll get your ruffle. And I will just tie off this one end, I'll finish this last one, and then I'll sew the 2 short ends to this one long one, and then we'll attach it to the skirt. Alright, so to make the ruffle part, I use the same technique that I used to make the ruffle around the bottom of the skirt. So I cut the length of ruffle that I want, and I did 2 cuts, one long, one short. Then using the simple stitch, I bunch it all together. If you want something that's a little bit more dense in your ruffle, you would just use a bigger piece and squish it back together. And then I sew the 2 pieces together first, and then I sew it to this ribbon. Now this ribbon is a simple silk cream colored ribbon that I bought at Joann's, but you can buy it also at Michael's or Walmart or really any place that carries ribbon. They come in big spools. I cut it to the length so that I could tie it around my neck as a choker. And then my sewing machine has an embroidery leaf pattern stitch that I just used to actually attach the ruffle to the ribbon. Now you could just use a simple stitch, you could use any type of stitch really that you would want to attach it. It doesn't really matter, I just thought this was pretty and decorative, so I went ahead and went with that. And then at Joann's I also found these awesome, very large bells. So I will be attaching one of these just with a simple thread to the top of this. Right, probably underneath you have a little bit of a lip here if you sew in the center, so I'll attach it in there. And the collar piece will be done. Okay, so adding the detailing to the sleeve. This is just 2 silk ribbons, the same that I used for the collar, and I just sewed them into the inseam when I was finishing off the sleeve. So on the inside you can actually still kind of see the little bit of the ribbon sticking through here, and this was literally just sewn in between the inseam here. And this allows me to actually just create the bow once I put the sleeve on. This material is stretchy and this is not, so if I were to sew this directly to the material, it would it would create a restriction on my arm, and it would look, I personally just don't like the look of it, so I made it so that I could actually just sew, or I'm sorry, that I could actually just create the bow myself by tying one. Now for the bottom of the sleeve, for this white ruffle detailing, this is just white material that I have sewn in a, that I cut on a fold, a half circle. I measured the circumference of my wrist, cut that in half, and that is the, I guess the circumference of the half circle that I created for the inside, and then I just measured out a 3-inch band around that and cut it. So that when you open the fold, you get a full seamless circle. Now if you didn't care about that and you want a seam, you could have done it where you have a cut and then just match it up with the inseam of the sleeve. However you want to do that. But this was just the simplest way, by measuring the circumference of my wrist and then measuring that as a half circle and then cutting another half circle on a fold. And then I just sewed it directly to the sleeve using the same detailing that I used on the collar piece of the little the leaf pattern, except I did it in white for this one. Alright guys, so here is the final look. I finished sewing the bell on the ruffle, and here it is. Alright guys, that was it for this video. I hope it was helpful. I really just wanted to show you guys how you can actually make a character from a simple pattern like this one. So if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. Along with any suggestions, if you guys have any videos that you would like me to make, I'm happy to do so. I will be probably following this one with a video on how to make gloves and a witch's hat. That will be for this particular character, the Lulu DragonTrainer. Also, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You can also check out my website at sassyseamstress.com. Till next time, guys. Bye!